Welcome and welcome back to S.WigginsTV. It's your host of the most, Worldwide Wiggins. We back up in this thing, man. Welcome to How LA Hoods Got They Name, Volume 2. But we ain't finna do too much talking, man. Today I got a hard episode for y'all, man. All of the hoods you've been asking me for. What about this one? I got everything. Well, damn near everything. So it's gonna be a good one. I ain't gonna talk your ears off, I promise. All I'm finna say is if you learn something, burn something, man. So you definitely gonna learn some things on this episode, bro. And quiz yourself if you think of one. Quiz yourself. See if you could guess everything, man. You know, I got a couple wobblers and all that. So, shouts out to my boy Smurf from RBC for donating to the cause, man. Much love. And I ask you guys do the same, bro. If you can, bro. $, that's Cash App, $WigginsTV, bro. So, donate if you can, man. Much love, bro. We ain't finna do too much talking. Let's get to the content, man. Sorry I had you waiting. You know, I took a couple days off, but like I said, we back up on it, man. Let's get it in. First things first. Non-full hoovers, man. I said I'm gonna do something different, you know, for this episode. We gonna do nicknames too. So the non-full hoovers nickname, quite naturally, is the Lowdowns. How they got the nickname Lowdowns? In an interview I did with Boo Manson a couple years ago, he discussed how he became one of the founders of that nickname and how it came about. So there you go, check it out. How did the non-foes get the nickname the Lowdowns?
The Lowdowns, I'm the one got us the nickname. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how that started. When I was California Youth Authority, and before I went to California Youth Authority, we didn't have no nicknames to gang set of the Hoovers. But when I came home from California Youth Authority, the H-Rays, their little homies, was named the Rascals. The 7-4 little homies was named the Babies.
Right.
So we had a meeting on 91st Street between Broadway and Main in 1993. It was me, Baby Devil, Big Lowdown, Ulo. We talked. And we was like, what we gonna call ourselves, all the homies. I was 19 years old at this time. And one of our little homies had a Reagan hat on. It had the NFL patch on the side, and that's the football league. And I said 9 for locals. And the homie Baby Devil said 9 for lowdowns. But back then, Big Lowdown, his name was Lowdown back then, 9 for Hoover. His name was Louis Insane. He changed his name to Lowdown after we named ourselves the 9 for lowdowns.
Oh,
so that's how the name Lowdown started.
All right, moving along. Farius Pablos. This one is pretty much easy. If you from the land, you should automatically know like how that came about. But for those of y'all not in the know, or you think it came from Spanish, you feel me, or it came from some Spanish or whatever, you know. Here's the truth. Farius Pablo Bloods, they came from the Pueblo del Rio project. The project name and put the B on it. They became the Pueblo Bloods. You feel me? But they Pueblo Bishops. How they got the Bishops, I got some things coming up with them, so you don't want to miss it. All right. Now, moving along. Oh, you got the most requested one, the Swans. Now, Swans, this is kind of like a wobbler, you feel me? Because I had to tap in with my Don moves from the east side, you feel me? I heard, it's me personally, this is what I heard, don't quote me, but the acronym for Swan is Sick, Wicked, Ass, Ninjas. So, Sick, Wicked, Ass, Ninjas, you feel me? That's what I heard it stood for. All right, so I never knew that. You feel me? That one kind of blew my mind. I didn't even know that. And the homie younger than me. Shout out to the homie from I know who he was, man. Now, as far as why they chose the name Swans, I was told at least, you know, from another source that, you know, they had a homie with the last name Swan. Like, let's say his name was Richard Swan or whatever. And I guess in honor of his last name, he was a big figure from over here. You know, that one is definitely a wobbler. I would like to know, but for the most part, the acronym, that's what I heard from somebody that actually been over there. Don't quote me still. All right. The Osage Legend Crips. This one, you feel me? Pay close attention, okay? I got this from an actual member of the Legends, okay? So what the homie told me was the Legends was real close with the vintage Showline crib. So they adopted the LC, because you know they acronyms is VSLC. So he said that they adopted the LC from over there, and they used to be known as the Legend Crew. And from there they adopted, you know, they put the C on it later on and became the Legend Crib. And Osage obviously comes from the street, and they hood Osage Street. And I'm gonna hit you with some trivia too. Did you know that even though they pushed non-deuce, non-4 was the original street? Once again, I got that from the homie from Legends, so I'll let your boy let me know. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was cool, man. I had to let that one be known. All right, Squiggly Lane Blood. Squiggly Lane Blood. I'm gonna be Professor Wiggins for this one, because we gotta get scientific, okay? In Pasadena, in the Squiggly Lane Bloods hood, they had a street called Crosby Street. Now over there, they used to have an alley over there, and they used to call it Sherm Alley. And, you know, they was known for pushing a lot of Sherm. For those of you who don't know what Sherm is, okay, it's PCP. As if you didn't know. But a lot of y'all can tell me about some PCP with your wet Aquaman. You probably wet right now watching that. But nah, so they got the name Squiggly because when you open some Sherm, you know, if you ever had a bottle of Sherm, the fumes that come from it, you know, they got squiggly lines coming from it. You know, Sherm has components of formaldehyde, you know, and embalming fluid, substance that's used to kill people, like morticians use to make sure the person is dead. This is the thing that people is ingesting. It's not nothing to play with. Very dangerous substance. So the fumes that come from it are so potent, you can see squiggly lines from the fumes coming out. So they use the name Squiggly, okay, from the squiggly lines coming out the Sherm. And they used the word Lane, because remember, they was once allies with the Denver Lane Blood. So it was like a homage thing. So squiggly lines from the Sherm, the Lanes, the PDL, Pasadena Denver Lanes, and they put the B on it, man, and became their own hood. That was real cool, right? If you don't hit my cash app after that one, don't come back over here. But for sure, that was cool, man. Shout out to the homie Bang, man. Much love. All right. This one is really good. Santana Block Compton Credit. I'ma keep it honest. I read a comment where I see somebody say, is it true that Santana's got their name from a music band, you know, like the singers, Santana? I'm like, never. Ain't no way. They got a street in their hood, Santana Street. But when I looked on the area, you know, I looked at the map of Compton, I noticed it wasn't no street called Santana Street. Because Lantana on the west side is named after Lantana Street. That's in their hood. So I was quite shocked, and I'm like, that's crazy. And I did some more research, and it may actually be true. Santana may have actually adopted the name because one of their OGs, that was one of his favorite music bands, Santana, which was founded by Carlos Santana, and they just adopted it, Santana Block 2C. And this is not far-fetched because remember, the Bloodstone Villains was actually named after the Bloodstones, the music group. We found that out in episode 1. If you ain't watched it already, go ahead and log in. That was cool, man. That was really cool. That one blew my mind. I had no idea. You put me on right there. Moving along. Cabbage Patch Poirot, Carson. Now this one is actually named after Cabbage Patches being in their hood, but I'm gonna let my boy Pete off enlighten y'all on information on his hood.
How Cabbage Patch get the name Cabbage Patch?
Man, so Cabbage Patch literally is a Cabbage Patch, bro. Like, right over there, I don't know if you can see, but if you look back that way, all this shit was cabbage fields, bro.
Oh, for
all
real?
This shit was cabbage fields. My hood was built, only half the hood was houses, you feel me? I'm from the new side. I'm from apartments. But apartments, all that shit was cabbage fields. And about 1972, homie, my big homies Keith Beller, OG Milk, you know what I'm saying? AKA Burnt, you feel me? And A-Dog and them, they was at Carnegie running with the homies from Scottsdale. Scottsdale was the mecca, like, for the Damus and Crips too. It was just a lot. Everybody went to Scottsdale. And the older homies Puddin' in them, you feel me, from Brompton, they used to have football games and shit like that in the Dells. Which leads to Scottsdale Paru, my homies hood. In about 1972, 73, my big homies, the founders, they got put on Cabbage Patch Boys through the Bompton Power Rules and the Scottsdale Power Rules. You feel me? And so we was the second Barson Power Rule hood. And we was the Cabbage Patch Boys at that time. You know, about 5. You know, I know the history of that. I ain't got to dig into that. You feel me? But that's how that started. About 1972, 1973. Cabbage Patch Boys, and they called us that because the hood was half of it was Cabbage Patch fields, literal Cabbage Patch fields. I mean, you know.
See, a lot of this info is coming straight off the channel, bro. Straight, I could do a whole episode just based off my content. Not to brag, but you feel me? Salute though. All right. The Watch 10 Line Gangsta Crib. I heard somebody make an ignorant statement because they don't really know, but I'm gonna let you know. You feel me? 10 Lines is actually named after 110th Street. That's like the heart of nigga. They over there by the train tracks, you know. It's like the main street, nigga. Just for the record, I would like to have my boy from 10 Line on the show, man. I was locked up with, man. That crazy mother. That's gonna be a hell of an episode. That's a wild individual, man. Alright, the DPS Jungle. Now, I guess you could count this as a wobbler, but we did Peace Stones on the last one. But as far as the name Jungles, because they got different sets, the Jungles is actually named after the fact that they got trees and, you know, tropical looking trees, I guess palm trees and other sorts that kind of cover the area. You know, I heard another, you know, rumor, should I say, that, you know, it's wild over there, so it's the jungle. So these are things that I heard over the years. So you can correct me on that if I'm wrong. All right. Southside Compton Crib. Guess who I spoke to? I hollered at Keefy D. Yep, I sure did. The shouts out to him. Well, I ain't gonna lie, it was little Keefy D. See, I could have lied to you right there. Y'all should be seeing an interview coming real soon, man. But yeah, shout out to Lil Keefy, man. But it's just a little history. The Southside Cribs was first known as the South Park Cribs, okay? And they came out in 71. People from neighborhood and Kelly Park, you feel me, OGs from over there probably still got Southside, you feel me, tatted on them. Because they all used to be from there. It used to be a big unity in Compton. But unfortunately, that was one of the first C versus C beefs. So I don't want to get into all that. I'm going to say that for the interview, but, you know, just some history, though. Village Town Paul Rule. I'm surprised that people actually asked for this one, but Village Town is actually named after Ujima Village. Unfortunately, Village Town's lost their projects, you know, due to a lot of contamination, you know, on the grounds that it was built. A lot of people was getting sick. Compton and South Bay area it's a lot of pollution going on, man, because people getting sick. And that's a topic I need to touch on. But a lot of people done died, man, because a lot of pollution. The air is just not clean over there. But as far as the Ujima Village, people filed, you know, lawsuits because people was getting sick and the government deemed it unsafe, you know, for people to inhabit. That's basically what happened. Now they got it fenced off. You know, I don't know about lately, but I know for a fact it was fenced off at one point, and this was like in the 2000s or whatever. But yeah, it comes from the projects, man. All right, here's like a little wobbler. I heard the UGs, the Undergrounds, Rolling Hunnids. I heard a lot of different, you feel me, tales on why they got the name Underground. What I heard from one of the G's was that it actually came from a song or music as well, and that's really cool, you feel me? So, but another thing I heard was, you know, it was kind of some underground area, and you know, this one I would like to know. You know, I like to keep a little wobbler on there, you feel me? So for sure I'd like to know about that one. But let me close y'all out if we gonna talk about the UGs. And since we doing nicknames, let's talk about the Rolling Hunnids Blue Flame Gang. They actually pushed Blue Flame Gang because one of their homies, who was named Blue Flame, was actually shot and killed, I believe in the year 2014 or 2015, in front of that China Bowl next to Little Caesars in that little plaza that used to have Metro, and over there with the Asian man at the smoke shop right there across the street from Eddie's Liquor. I used to live in the area, so I could tell you this one off top. But that's why you see some of their homies, they'll have 10714. That's the address of the actual China Bowl. That's where he passed away. So, you know, it's basically a tribute for the fallen homie. But yeah, that's what it is right there. But and one thing you'll notice, a lot of hoods, you know, they'll adopt a name based off of fallen homies. So that's why you'll see the grapes say Beezy Gang in honor of BL. Okay. All right, that's it, man. This just episode 2. Look out for episode 3, and yeah, man, hit my cash app, man, if you can, man. You know you learned something. But till next time, man. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Gone. Wig it.